Down goes Orrin Hatch. Down goes Orrin Hatch. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got him. Utah Senator Orrin Hatch has announced earlier today that he will retire at the end of his term. Now, that, of course, ends apparently along speculation that he would not seek re-election. And look, this guy, he's been in office for a very, very long time. He's actually the longest-serving Republican senator in U.S. history. He's been in office for over 3 decades. That is a very, very long time, so this man is a fossil. And not a very good one, and apparently not a very popular one. And it turns out that he is incredibly unpopular in his state. His poll numbers in Utah indicated that 75% of these voters said they did not want Orrin Hatch to run again. Now, Hatch, of course, is a very big sort of ally to President Trump. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but within that big vacuum that Orrin Hatch is going to leave, well, here comes our old friend, Mitt Romney. And by friend, I mean the guy who called about half of America moochers. Awesome. Now, according to Business Insider, Hatch had made his announcement on Tuesday saying, quote, "Every good fighter knows when to hang up the gloves." And so it doesn't have anything to do with the Trump administration turning into a roaming dumpster fire or your poll numbers going to shit. Doesn't have anything to do with that. No. Not according to him. No, he says, quote, "I may be leaving the Senate, but the next chapter in my public service is just beginning. See, I'm moving on to something bigger and better than serving the public." So that means he's going to be a lobbyist. That's what you do. That's what the revolving door allows you to do. So since he got the gigantic tax cuts passed, and that's what most of these Republicans, you have to understand, this is the dream that they've been chasing for a very, very long time, to give enormous tax cuts to the rich and corporations. And now, when they finally got it, see ya. My job, my job's over with. Mission complete. Mission accomplished. You can hang the banner now. Now I'm going to go work for those corporations that I just enriched. And I'm going to make millions of dollars. I don't have to beg for money from these corporations anymore. Now they're going to pay me. Just for going and lobbying. So that's what Orrin Hatch is going to do. Now, Hatch's announcement, according to Business Insider, comes after President Trump urged him to run again, which would have prevented former Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney from potentially filling the seat. Trump also appeared along Hatch at a Utah rally to push the Republican tax reform plan, which they did. They ended up passing, where he called on the high-ranking Republican to keep serving in the Senate. Quote, "You meet fighters and you meet people that you thought were fighters, but they're not so good at fighting. He's a fighter. We hope you will continue to serve your state and your country in the Senate for a very long time to come." And Hatch is like, "Nah, I got my victory. My donors are happy, so now I can leave and I can go work for them. And they can pay me loads and loads of money since I was one of the ones who just cut their taxes." That's what this is about. So, now what's interesting about this, again, is the Mitt Romney angle, right? So, look, Mitt Romney is not a fan of Trump. Trump is definitely not a fan of Mitt Romney. Now, this makes me laugh because not long after a lot of criticism came from Mitt Romney, you're unfit. You're definitely not fit for office. You're unhinged, stuff like that. Not long after that criticism came from Mitt Romney towards Donald Trump, that you had a sort of amends, at least for a short while, which actually led to this hilarious picture that I'm about to show you. God, I love that picture. Go ahead. Tell them your name. Tell them your name. My name is Reek. Oh, that's so sad. That's actually, that is almost as sad as Ted Cruz phone banking for Donald Trump during the election. I don't know which is my favorite picture, to be honest with you. they're just both so sad. So now, interestingly enough, like I said, with Hatch gone, here comes Mitt Romney. Now, maybe if he wins, and he might be popular in Utah, there's a big Mormon contingent out there that will definitely vote for him. Maybe he can regain some of his self-respect by being the moral opposition to Donald Trump. And to that I say, moral opposition. No, he's not moral opposition. Here's why. Mitt Romney's still a Republican, right? Now, don't get me wrong. He's probably going to talk shit like Jeff Flake and Bob Corker, right? But on policy, he's going to vote the way that President Trump wants him to. Why? Well, because, again, he's a Republican. They're going to go for Republican policies that will help the rich. For example, on Obamacare, right? Yeah, Obamacare is still a thing. No, Donald Trump did not repeal Obamacare. Yes, he got rid of the individual mandate, and that's going to have a big impact. But the ACA as a whole still exists. Okay, so, and the Republicans, they're not done with that. Now, of course, with the win of Doug Jones, it's going to be a little bit harder to eliminate the ACA than it would have been if Roy Moore had won the election, the special election in Alabama. Well, nonetheless, they're going to try. They're going to at least look at trying and attempting to eliminate the ACA. We'll see what happens after the midterms. And then their big thing, entitlement reform, which basically means cutting your Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, right? He would happily cast a vote with the rest of the Republicans to eliminate Social Security. Why? Because that's in his DNA. As long as Trump puts forward policies that help the rich and corporations, these Republicans like Flake, Corker, and the rest, they will vote for them. Again, let me go back to the tax cuts. Corker and Flake voted for the tax cuts. And so we saw these even so-called moderate Republicans, right, who said, oh, no, I'm not going to vote for something that has such an impact on the deficit. It's not going to blow up the deficit, right? I don't want to vote for something that's going to blow up the deficit that much. What did they do? They still ended up voting for the tax cuts. So, again, it's in their DNA. They're Republicans. They're always going to vote in favor of the corporations, of the rich, and with their donors. Now, as far as Hatch is concerned, again, he's going to go be a lobbyist. He'll be fine, right? Now, the big thing is that, again, he supported Trump. And anybody in Congress that is supporting Trump now very openly is probably not going to do well in the midterm elections. I mean, Roy Moore's loss in Alabama showed us that. I mean, yes, Roy Moore is an extreme example. He's a monster. He was a pedophile and the worst of the worst. And he barely lost by 1.5 points, percentage points. So to Doug Jones, which is your run-of-the-mill centrist Democrat, right? Nonetheless, if a progressive were to run, and there's a lot of progressives that are looking to run in 2018, this is a problem for a lot of Trump-loving Republicans or Trump-supporting Republicans. So Hatch, I'm pretty sure that had something to do with his political calculation, along with the poll numbers that I mentioned before, how unpopular he is in Utah, as well as, of course, the fact that, hey, man, I finally got the tax cuts, so I've done what I'm supposed to do. I've helped the donors. Now I'm out. So, and that's why there's a wave of retirements, right? They did everything that they're supposed to do, and now they're hitting the eject button. They're getting as far away from Donald Trump as they can, and I think that is probably the most important part of this story. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.